Traders, welcome back to Tapereading Concepts YouTube channel. My name is Nikolai, and today, the 7th of September, we're going to walk over a couple of opportunities I took within the morning session. The story for today's action begins last week on Friday, where price was still here in gold, trading towards new recent highs in the mid-30s. We did top out on Friday right around 1837 it seems, and the best line describing the price action since then during the Monday, the shortened session, and over the overnight on Tuesday, the best reference point here is this line here that creates frequency on the way down at the lows. Overall, we've been seeing consistently lower highs here. You can see that price has been edging lower and lower overnight on Tuesday. Same price action, $700 lower high here within the European session, and another $700 lower high was forming within the first hour and a half to 2 hours here between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., which is the US pre-market. This is all Eastern time. Price had already overnight collapsed here on top of the lowest prices from Friday. As I was monitoring the developments around this door, around 1811, there was definitely some buying interest here. We did take out the recent high, but price did cluster right above the recent high, still significantly lower than the previous high. This was the first logical place for me to nibble on the short side. Obviously, this is a very weak market that is likely to keep running and testing levels to the downside. None of the highs were broken. What really attracted my attention was the similar price action that is forming at the tops, at the highs. You can see here the cluster overnight, the cluster at the lower high, and mind you, these are classic pullbacks for the gold market. You can see just above $500 on the granular pullbacks here, on the meaningful ones, this one including. Of course, that further down this progression, I'd really need a more major discount in order to be interested. Not only was the topping formation here similar, but it was also appearing just above recent highs here, and it was also a perfect place to nibble on the short side based on the action reaction rules that we teach in our mentoring community relative to our reference point here. I was in this trade just over 20 minutes, under 25 minutes actually. It seems like maybe it got a bump here around 10 o'clock, but there was no significant news on the docket, at least not on forexfactory.com, so might be just a coincidence. But as the door collapsed, the vacuum really sucked price towards the weekly lows. I actually scrambled to move the target here, but I could not react fast enough, even though the price was, the target was at a logical place here. This was my, well, one of the derivative lines based off of the frequency to the downside. This was R1. Further down this progression, there were not only were the weekly lows broken, but we kept going down, and the same frequency here acted as resistance, even though it was acting potentially as support earlier on the way down. This downward sloping floor. Quick trade, maybe not the best management, but maybe I'm a little bit rusty here with my reactions. This is fast twitch intraday trading in a very dynamic runaway market, which is what Comex Gold offered this morning. We don't know where the bottom is, and even though now in the mid-afternoon we've been consolidating here for a good few hours, trading here just underneath 1800, which is a round number, a psychological level. It's not out of the question that if no highs get taken out here, we're likely to see lower prices towards the lower 90s. Similar price action, or at least a similar idea in crude oil coming here from the morning session on Monday, where it was somewhat limited of a price action, but there was nothing but lower highs here happening. Tuesday night, same thing here, and within the early morning here following the 7 o'clock mark, even though the topping formation was similar, the tops here are forming by some shoulders on the left side, small pivot component, and then a sharp move to the downside. Similar price action here. There's the sharp move, there's the pivot component that's forming just above the coil, which forms these thick shoulders on the left side. This one had the sequence inverted, had a bit of a stretch here, and the shoulders formed on the right side, but nevertheless same price action. I was still putting the pieces together here as I had just come to the table, and I also probably would not have been interested in participating in this topping or potential top early in the morning around 68.60 or in the mid 50s here. Pass on this one. However, as price happened here to broaden more significantly, which is something that I'm very much interested in. I noticed again this thick cluster of price that is happening still lower than the previous one, yet once the book is cleaned off of the recent relatively aggressive shorts, beautiful price action close to a reference point where price could run out of directional energy. And I did pick up one of these shoulders on the right side, reminiscent of what we had previously. Good price, steep discount, logical premise, looking for a rather extended move here down, probably just over $1,000 is what I was shooting for. I suspect that the lows here left earlier in the session will get tested or potentially even broken. Crude oil's a pretty weak market right now, so support is liable to break until it actually gets confirmed. I did, however, get a strong reaction here off of a place where buyers were present in the early morning. You can see that these prices here are just between the low and the shoulder formed in the US pre-market. And what I also observed is that the proximal edge formed a little bit later on a higher low, got broken, yet the distal edge here down at this shoulder was potentially going to hold. Therefore, with the steep reaction, I opted for taking the profits on about a 50% pullback. This is a classic compromise in order to take the profits, yet get a reasonable price on the exit. I did take only 2 handles here on a $300 per contract stop or a handle here. So just 2 stops on this one, but 2 out of 2 for the morning. Back to my regular trading routine. The volatility is great, so it's likely that there will be much more activity later this week. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, like, share, and subscribe if you like these videos and you find them insightful. Tape Reading Concepts is a mentoring community where we teach a professional approach to understanding price action and demystifying the process of taking high probability, great risk versus reward opportunities. You can reach me at tapereadingconcepts@gmail.com. Happy hunting this week, happy hunting in September. I'll catch you traders into the next video.